Hey everybody, it's November 18th, 2023. It's Saturday. We had a nice little bit of rain today, which I like. Um, Today was pretty chill. My nephew, like I said, my nephew had been released from jail, and because it's the holiday in a few days, I decided I was going to go down and visit with him today. He lives about an hour away, and so I got up early and he needed a suitcase because he was going into sober living, which is like a facility that helps him deal with drinking. And I brought a suitcase for him to use so he could put some of his stuff in. And I had to get a key from him because I had to get some stuff for my dad from his storage unit. So I took him to lunch. We had a nice lunch and we were sitting there catching up. Um, he's basically starting his life over. He lost everything, um, which is very, very sad. I feel bad for him, but he just made some decisions and he just has to start over. So I'm just explaining to him that let's just take it a day at a time. So let's just get you in the program. Let's get you through the program, and then we'll just take it a step at a day, at a time. And so I did tell him that I had started a vlog, and I did tell him that I was talking about what he was going through and how it was affecting me and the family and stuff. And he feels bad because I think he knows that the situation was very difficult for us. One, because seeing him in prison, and I was, besides his one brother who came to visit here, I'm the only other person that ever saw him in prison. I keep saying prison, jail, because I went to two of his trials. The second one, which I talked about in a previous blog. Actually, I was at the prison that he got the day that he was getting his he was finding out about sober living. I had to talk to I went, and because I was there, I talked to the judge and his parole officer and stuff, but they had me stand and talk to them. And that was the day that you guys were all messaging me. So I was at the courthouse that day dealing with him and what he was going through, and I was getting all these messages on my YouTube, and I was like, what is my YouTube blowing up for? And that was the day you guys were all messaging me, because I think the night before was when Tom from Life of Tom vlog had found my account, and then you guys had all went and started following me and commenting on all my videos. And I was at the courthouse that day going, why is I was so confused, but I was so distracted. So I was like, what is happening on my YouTube? But I couldn't look at it because I was trying to be there for my nephew. And then it got so overwhelming from all your amazing comments that I didn't even look till the next day. And that's when I had found out. So again, thank you so much. But that's what I was dealing with. So I did tell him today, I said, look, I just wanted to let you know that I started a vlog to, deal with my own issues and dealing with like my mom's death. And my friend Ryan had talked to me about doing it because I was a filmmaker and I traveled a lot. And he goes, yeah, okay. He goes, that sounds great. And I said, so just so you know, I have been talking about you. He's like, no, that's fine. And I said, I never mentioned his name, which he was fine with now. But I was going to vlog with him so you guys can meet him and see how good he was doing. But he was being very shy. He normally wears a hat. He didn't wear a hat because his hair was all over the place. So he was feeling very, very shy and insecure. And I understood that. I said, no, just know that I would love to introduce you because I have been talking about you, and because you're working so hard to get your life in order. But I think once he gets out of the program and he's starting on the right path, we'll be able to vlog with him so you guys can meet him. But he's doing a lot better, I hope. He looks good. He went through withdrawals and stuff while he was in there for maybe 4 months, a little less, but it seemed like about 4 months. And so, he's trying to he had sobered up a little bit, was getting his act together. And I'm very proud of him. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. I know it's not going to be easy. He went through terrible depression. It got worse when my mother passed away because she was basically raising him. She raised him, yeah, for most of his life. I think he was just always with my parents. So they were almost like parents to him, and he really took care of my mother a lot. Like I mentioned in the previous vlog, he was taking care of her for a while because he was down there living with them. And so he's, when my mother fell, she fell and hurt herself, and he came home and found her and was taking care of her. And I remember that night, and he had to work so early the next day, and my dad was out of town. And so I drove down there in the middle of the night so he could sleep. and I stayed with my mom. And then when he went to work and my mom was sleeping during the day, I just slept too. But she was up all night long, so I was up with her so he could sleep. So he did take her death very hard. I knew he was going to. He was really, really close to her, to the both of them, and so I knew he was going to take it really hard. And so I've been trying to be there for him. What was hard is that the entire time he was going through him being in jail and we were dealing with that, I was going through the writer's strike and just trying to survive on my end. So there wasn't a lot of work. I did work, but it's like there's usually more work and there wasn't. And so it was just so tough with me trying to like survive on my own. And I was helping my dad move to the Midwest, and I had to take off. Well, I traveled to New Orleans with my friend, and we just did that for 4th of July. I did that for his birthday, but because I didn't have anything booked at the time, and then I had to take an extra week off because my dad was moving, so I didn't have any work then. So I didn't work for most of July, which made it difficult. And then like I worked a lot, sort of in August and September. So like work has just been sort of sporadic and weird. But I was doing all of that while I was also trying to help him get himself situated. And I did talk about that in a previous vlog. And then so that was today. And I just spent time with him. Not a lot, just a couple of hours. I wanted to see him for Thanksgiving since I was traveling and I knew he might be in sober living and I wasn't sure if I could have access to him. So I wanted to have a couple hours with him for Thanksgiving just so he knew that he was not alone and he was supported. So I do hope it helped. I do hope. I was dealing with some work issues, so I had to be on the phone a little bit more than I wanted to be, and I feel very guilty about that. He understood. At this point, I mean, my nephews have seen me be a filmmaker for the majority of their lives, so they're used to me being like, I just have a weird schedule. And they have visited me on set many times, so they all understand it. So he was just chilling, but I just felt bad because it's a Saturday, and it was like I just got this email a work email for a project that I'm supposed to be directing, and that just was like, it was just a crazy email that just needed to be dealt with in that moment, and I had to call my agent and my manager, and I was like, I don't understand how to deal with this, so I had to get everybody involved, and it sucks because it's a Saturday and it's before a holiday, but it's just. We freelance, it's how it is. But it's taken care of, I hope. They're dealing with it now. And then I spent the last couple of hours after that with him. We went and had lunch, and then we grabbed ice cream because I just love ice cream. And then I dropped him off back at he's staying with his best friend. So I do wish him all the best. It's not going to be easy, and I'm completely aware of that. He has to, he's literally starting his entire life over. Which in some weird way he might need, sometimes it's I mean, that's happened to me once before when I first got into film. When I first got into film, we had the first writer's strike, and I basically lost so much, and I felt like I started over. And in some weird way, it was for the best. Sometimes it's like you just gotta like you have to kind of like cut ties with your old self and sort of like begin anew with your new self. And so I'm really, really hoping that he comes out of this better and stronger. He's not alone. I'll be there. I can't be there because it's just something he has to do on his own. It just has to. But I'm not unavailable. Like if he needs me, I can be there. So yeah, so that was my day. It was a nice Saturday. He needed that. I think we both did. It was good to see him. Like I said, I hadn't seen him much since my mother passed. I saw him right maybe a couple months later when we moved my dad, and then I came back and I saw him again, and then because we had to move some of my dad's stuff into storage, but after that I didn't see him because he got arrested. So yeah, it's been a weird year. I know I keep saying that. I just really need you to understand the fact that it's been like I look back on it now, and I really thought 2020 would be hard, but I worked a lot and took up photography and was traveling, doing road trips. Like I had such a great 2020 in that sense. I mean, it was weird, and everything just felt so apocalyptic. I guess it just felt so like 2020 was weird for all of us. I'm aware of that. Like it just was like time stood still. But 2021 was fine, and 22 was fine, and I survived the pandemic, and I was able to work, and we wore masks, which I was fine with. I was able to travel. I was wearing a mask. I was fine with it. It does not bother me to wear a mask at all. I don't always like it because I have really really bad allergies, and the mask presses against my nose. But like I don't have an issue wearing a mask. I really don't have an issue at all. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I sat on an 11-hour flight wearing a mask, like, and I wear them 12 hours a day on set. Like I just don't care, because I want to be safe. So, but after even through all that, I really felt like 2023 was the hardest year, just with like getting COVID and my mom passing away, and then just like the writer strike, and just dealing with moving my dad and my nephew in prison. It's just jail, whatever, being incarcerated. It was just been like a very, 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 very trying year. So, for me, next week, going out of town, I want to be able to just sort of like shut down and shut off. Now, I'm not. That's not mean I'm not going to be unavailable because I am. I just want to be able to just step away and look at my life and be mentally prepared for what I'm hoping is going to be a great year in 2024 with like my career going off in the direction I want. Um, really taking control of like moving it in the direction that I really want it to go. And I have toyed with the idea of eventually moving out of Los Angeles. I'd like to move. I don't know where I would go, so I'm just toying with the idea. But um, I've been here because my life is here. My family was here. My friends were here, but I don't have as many friends as I used to, and not my family's moved and gone and moved on. So I guess in some weird way, it's just something I've been thinking about. So I that's kind of what I want from the trip to El Salvador. I want to be able to just walk out of the Airbnb and just enjoy a different atmosphere and a different mindset. And I want to come back with more of a clear mind. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. I know, and I will do this when I do my vlog then, but we always try to talk about what we're thankful on Thanksgiving. So this gives me a few days to think about that, what I really want to be thankful for and where I want to go with the new year. So anyways, to my nephew, Matthew, I've given permission now to say which one it is. Your uncle is here and he loves you and he supports you. Your grandfather loves and supports you. Your mother and all of your brothers, most of your brothers, we're here. We love you and we support you. And we just want the best for you. We know this is not easy. Um, you you fell and you fell hard. But we love you, man. We just want to see you succeed. And yeah, we're here if you need us, okay? You're not doing this alone. Anyways, hope everybody has a good Saturday. And yeah, Thanksgiving's almost here. Tell your family that you love them because you never know when you won't have them. The last holiday I had with my mom was Thanksgiving of last year. And because she had dementia, she slept all day. I didn't get to see much of her. So I never really got to spend quality time with her. And that was the last time I saw her. We didn't have Christmas because it didn't make any sense. We were trying to have a celebration for her with her, but it didn't do any good because she was mentally not there and she slept. She didn't even realize it was the holidays. So the last time it's not the last time I saw her. Yeah, actually, I think it might be. I think the last time I saw my mother alive would have been Thanksgiving. I have to think about that because I don't remember if that's true. But yeah, we had Thanksgiving and I was there. And my dad did the cooking, which was hard because doesn't really cook, but it was very small and intimate. It was my whole family was there. Well, that's not true. My two nephews and me. This is right before my oldest nephew moved away, back to near his mom. But yeah, it was me and my dad. It was just the four of us, I think. Yeah, my mom was there, but she was by that time her dementia was so bad and she was sleeping. So I saw her. I don't even think she knew I was there. If she saw me, she just didn't make any. Like I wanted to go talk to her, but she was just sleeping, and I said I loved her, but I don't even know if she knew I was there. And then I was gonna come for Christmas, but it just seemed like it was so much work for my dad, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to bother him because he was taking care of my mom, and so we just didn't have Christmas that day. And I don't remember what I did. I just did something, which is weird because I always spend it with my family because I'm so close. I mean, distance wise, I'm only an hour away. But we didn't have Christmas. And then I always go to my friends with my friends. We get this cabin in Arizona. This one was outside of Flagstaff. And I remember it took a couple days to be out there because I wanted to go to the Grand Canyon and stuff, and it was so pretty. And I remember just being there. And I remember making a promise to my mom's nurse on the phone with my dad, saying that I would be there to take my mom to the hospital because she had to get fitted for a brace for her foot because she hurt her foot. And I made a promise to her nurse, and then I came home from that trip and I had COVID. The first time I caught COVID the entire pandemic. And I called my dad and I said, Dad, I don't want to go and see Mom because I don't want to get her sick because I have COVID. And we thought the best thing that I would do is just not go because I didn't want to get her sick. And then she died. And I didn't get to say goodbye. And I think that's one of my regrets is that I didn't go there at Christmas and try to be with her because I just didn't want to get her sick. And she was so unwell and I didn't get to see her anyways, but I just feel like I never got a chance. And I know in the last few times I got to see her more than my sister did, and my sister's not handling her death very well because of that. Like, I at least got to be there and say goodbye, And the hardest thing really was to have to see her laying there after she passed. And that's sadly the last memory I have of her. So yeah, Thanksgiving is the last time I saw her alive. And so I have to take this trip, even though it's expensive. Well, it's not really that expensive. But I have to take this trip because I have to go and celebrate my mom. My mom always wanted to travel, and she never got a chance to. And I have to go because this year has just been so fucking shitty. And I just want to go into 2024 stronger and more focused because one of my biggest regrets is I worked so hard to make my career happen, and my mother got so sick near the end, she didn't get to see it. And now that things are, starting to move, she's not here for that. And I try to live my life for me, but my mother had such a hard time at first, which is a long story in itself, but she had such a hard time with me leaving my job and trying to pursue a career in film. She just didn't understand the freelance life, which is fine. I mean, I get that a lot of people don't. And so it took her a couple of years to really rally behind the idea of me wanting to follow my dreams because we're not really taught that. We're not taught that. But when she started going to set and seeing all the things that I was doing and saw how much fun I had and that I could make a living, she was really behind it. But she also wanted me to, she loved my writing and my singing, and she was always a big supporter of me in the arts. And so when I was workshopping my play, she was always there. And I wanted to turn it into a feature so she could see that, and it just didn't happen while she was alive. Both her and my grandmother. So I use this sort of pain that I'm going through as a sort of catalyst of trying to push myself and motivate me, because I think that's the least I could do is do it in her honor. I'm so sorry. God, I'm such a mess. You guys did not start watching the vlog for this, but this is me being real. I haven't cried for my mom very much in the last couple of months. My friend, I reconnected with a friend not too long ago, and I had given him the news about my mom's passing, and then everything subsequently I was going through. And he's like, how are you surviving? And I said, well, I don't know, I just am. But then I thought about that, because I am like, well, how I am surviving? Like, I guess on the scale of things, like, my mother had a good life. She lived, she was at 75. She might have been 77. But anyways, it doesn't matter. But she had health issues. But like, you know, she was sick for a while. So it's not like I knew it was eventually going to happen. So I think in some ways I was just like, okay, well, she's sick and she's not going to get any better. It's probably something I have to prepare for. That doesn't make her death any easier, by the way, but I just in my back of my mind. But I think because like my dad needed help figuring things out on his move, and then my nephew needed help figuring out things on his move, and then my other nephew needed help with figuring out things on his move, and then everybody needed to be moved, and then my nephew got, you know, incarcerated, and he needed to figure out things, and I had to go pick my mom's ashes that were left in his car, and then just trying to keep my sister, you know, grounded because she was having such a hard time not being able to say goodbye. I think I just got so caught up in all that. That's the only way, I guess, how I survived, because the strike did not keep me busy enough to keep me distracted, you know. I spent a lot of time just laying in my bed, not wanting to get out of my bed because I just didn't want to give it. I just did not want to get out of bed. I just did not want to deal with fucking life because I just felt like every time I got out of bed, something was going to happen. I would just get bad news about, you know, something with my family or, you know, the strike and stuff. I was just like, it just felt like the easiest thing to do was just lay in bed and not have to worry about life. So I don't know if that's surviving, but at least I still get up every day for the most part and I make it happen. So I will be celebrating my first Thanksgiving alone without my mother and without my family. Which is why I had to take a trip. I just couldn't sit here by myself. I mean, I have friends around me, but it's not that. I just needed to I needed to take a break from my life and actually look at it from the outside in and sort of like get a new perspective on who I am and where I want to go. So there you go. I'm going to go now because I think I just want to have a glass of wine and just relax and enjoy my Saturday. But thank you all for listening. This is my life. But I appreciate you guys tuning in and always being so supportive. So I hope you guys have a good Saturday. And we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care.